Hey guys,
What's up? What's up?
what's going on? It's Stephanie.
This is Andre.
This is Table for Four, live sessions number 3.
Number
How are you?
3.
How are you? Good evening. Just want to tell you a little bit about Table for Four. We want to welcome you to our live podcast where we talk about different stories and topics in the headlines in the week and everything else in between. So we want to go jump right into it. We're going to talk about Tyre Nichols. So if you haven't heard the news about this 29-year-old, briefly, he was pulled over on January 7th in Memphis, Tennessee. And apparently, he was pulled over for a traffic stop. That was what the story or the consensus is. And he was pepper sprayed, he was tasered, and along with being severely beaten by 5 officers. So, unfortunately, that severe beating led to his death about 3 days later. So, thinking about this incident, it reminds me of all the other things that are associated with police brutality, unlawful stops, and a lot of racism.
Right.
A lot of it comes down to that point. So the first thing I want to talk about is really the point of views, the most important point of views, and what it comes down to. So the first point of view I want to talk from is from the parents' point of view. The second point of view I want to talk about is from the police department's point of view. And then the last point of view I want to get into is the community point of view. So, as a parent, what are your thoughts on this story in particular?
It's hurtful. Like I said, I haven't took the time. I started seeing the footage, but then, like I said, I was kind of unclear to what happened. I don't know if he was stopped unlawfully. I don't know the whole circumstances of what happened, but just to use the excessive force, I think it's shouldn't be used at all. If you're pulling over somebody, and as a parent, that would hurt me too. If one of our kids gets pulled over or gets confronted by police, and I remember growing up, I used to get pulled over all the time, and and the cops would say they were following me from a few minutes ago to see what I was doing, and they would
Why?
ask,
Because you look suspect?
yeah, I would look suspicious, and they would ask me, I need to search your car. I said, you don't have a warrant, and they said, well, I don't need a warrant. I said, well, yes, you do. I said, and I told them, listen, if you search my car, you're not gonna find anything. So
Right. So, jeez. So, as a parent, you would feel that this particular incident was just uncalled for. Was it a legal thing? Was it just like any other sad story? When it comes to hearing your child being beaten severely,
yeah,
with the police. Now, it all comes back to today is February 1st. Happy Wednesday. It's also Black History Month. So a lot of this boils down to what can we do as parents to kind of give our children the guidance in learning how to prevent something from this happening. But there's nothing much that we can personally do to prevent this from happening.
right.
So I'm going to teach you not to be suspicious. I'm going to teach you what can I personally teach you in order for you not to get beaten. I really don't know what I can do. The only thing I can do is to teach you how to be respectful of law enforcement.
Right.
But now a lot of people have lost a lot of respect for law enforcement.
I think that went out the window a long time ago. Unfortunately, this is the world we live in now, where everyone hates cops. The hatred was always there, but now it's to the point now where there's like the respect is out the window.
It's boiling over,
and it makes their jobs harder
So much
for the ones
harder.
that are respectful cops and are doing their job.
and are out there doing what they need to do to be respectful. But I don't think a lot of the blame goes on the cops either. It's the temperature's hot now. The temperature is very, very hot. So when we hear another story like this, we think back of what? Black Lives Matter. We think of George Floyd. We think of Breonna Taylor. We think about all these unfortunate incidents that happened.
And in the past too, Rodney King.
Was
it Amadou Diallo? What's the guy's name?
Amadou Diallo. But those are the things that just makes it hard, like a parent, to bring your child into this world, into this type of society that.
But this one is a little different.
And we're gonna get into that. So as a mother, I don't know if you want to pull up the video with the interview with Tyre's mom, dad, and their lawyer. Now, what happens is with this particular incident, you see where
This one?
With
this one?
No, I have a video there for you. Let me see. Did I attach it for you?
No, this is
You want to check in the notes and see if it's there?
Let's see. This one, the Joe Rogan one?
No, not the Joe Rogan one. Go down, because it's a no. Go all the way to the top. All the way to the top.
That's it.
Yeah,
this one,
right, yeah.
with the CNN interview.
Yeah, you're gonna see. You're gonna see how it gets really. You're gonna see it. Yeah. Let me lift up the volume for you.
So is it? I don't see it.
It's the one with CNN.
Oh yeah, let me cancel this. Open this again.
Open that one, right? It's this one, right? It's that one.
Yeah, this is
that one, right? Yeah, that's the one from the CNN. I want you to take a listen to that.
By Ravon and
volume.
Rodney Wells, the parents of Mr. Nichols here and of Tyre Nichols, and also Benjamin Crump, the family attorney. I thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you. I don't know how you're holding up and able to do this under these circumstances, but we're certainly grateful that you're here.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing as well as can be expected. It's very difficult right now. I'm still trying to understand all of this and trying to wrap my head around all of this. It's still like a nightmare right now, so.
Just be honest. Listen, just conducting this interview, I'm a mama's boy. I was also a skater, as someone who knows a skateboarder growing up. And so I just can't imagine my mother dealing with this. When you walked in, you said, Don, I'm not very good at this. And I said, I got you. What do you mean you're not who would be good at this?
Exactly.
Who would be good at this?
I don't know, because this is very difficult. This is very difficult.
Yeah.
Yes.
How are you doing, Dad?
I'm hanging in there. You know, I have to be strong for the family. So we have other siblings that we have to be strong for also.
Did you hear the chief?
Yes.
What did you think?
I respected what she said. She's doing an excellent job, I feel. She's moving things along, and I like what she's doing.
She said that
if you guys
there is been nothing,
Nicholas's mom,
no evidence that they have found so far to substantiate
talk about your thoughts, your feelings.
Why the officers stopped Tyre Nichols. No evidence so far.
See, they said no evidence.
What did you make of that?
As to
I think it's telling because there's so much videotape America's about to see. Over an hour long video from a pole camera that catches a lot of the tragedy. All this body cam footage. If Tyre was driving reckless, we should see it. We're not saying that they're lying, but we should see it. And the fact that they can't show it to us further underscores why this was so unnecessary. So unnecessary. I have to say this. Because, like Ms. Wells said, how swiftly they moved in Memphis and how swiftly the district attorney brought charges against these 5 black police officers. This is now the blueprint for America. When you see officers committing crimes on video, then you can't tell us that you got to go 6 months, you got to go a year. No, when it was these black officers, we saw it move swiftly. And so think about all the ones we covered, Don. I mean, the Tamir Rices, the Michael Browns, Ahmaud. All these cases took so long for Lando Castillo for them to charge. But here in Memphis, we now have the blueprint that it can be done swiftly and efficiently.
You're shaking your head in agreement and you're saying yes.
Yes.
So you want to pause though?
Because just the way that.
So listen to what the lawyer said, right? The blueprint has now been set by Memphis, Tennessee. All the other cases that were committed by white police officers were not taken into account, or it wasn't done as swiftly as for these 5 African American cops.
Right.
Now, my question to you
is, we didn't mention that before. So the cops that were involved, they were all African American.
African American.
African American police officers.
So my question to you is, did they act swiftly because they were African American, or did they act as swiftly because they were law enforcement? Because those other cases were white, Caucasian, whatever the case be, cops, and it took forever to get some sort of resolution, right? Or in this particular case, because they saw the evidence, because they saw so many things happen, was it because they were African American that they acted so swiftly, or was it because of the crime that was committed, not seeing color, but because of the malicious act that was done, and it was done so brutally that this individual died, Mr. Nichols? What is your response to that? Why do you think that happened? So it's a tough question.
It's a tough question to answer.
It's tough. I know.
It's a tough question to answer.
I know. It is very tough because I'm in my mind. I'm trying to spin it in my head, and I'm like, did they act quickly because they were African American, or did they act quickly because of the actual act of the crime itself?
I think they're trying to nip it in the butt right away. It could be that, or now it's going to be the whole misconception now of why were these 5 officers charged right away when all the other cases there was a race factor.
Because race plays a factor, and because they're black and because they're African American, they're like, oh, we're going to show them. They're going to be the scapegoats. They're going to be the ones to start it up.
Right.
They're going to be the ones that are going to be like, oh, we're going to set them as an example. So that was what was kind of spinning in my head. But moving from the first point of view as a parent, I'm heartbroken for this family. And I've been heartbroken for all the other families that have been suffered these different instances where they've lost their children, they've lost their fathers, they've lost their sisters, their aunts. In all these, I don't want to say preventable because I really can't say preventable. But like these incidents like this just makes me super sad. Super, super sad as a mom because I can't protect my babies. Like, how would I be out there? I can't be with them 24/7. You know what I'm saying? How can I protect them, or how can I feel for them to feel protected, or what can I teach them? There's nothing I can literally do. This mom and this dad, they're done. They're done. You know? But then now we're gonna move to the police department's point of view. Right? So you're saying that the police department is what going to try to pew, pew, pew,
it's all
trying to nip it in the butt.
What do you call it? Forgot that tactic. They're trying to get up ahead of all the media, trying to justify the cause, but the fact that he has all the footage already from, so now we'll see from the body cams, the telephone poles, camera poles, like cameras out there on the streets, so
they can't hide it.
They can't hide it. They're gonna have to either fess up or it's just sad.
No, but they've been charged already.
Right, and it's the fact that they've been charged right away, and I think they were fired too, right? They were fired.
They were let go from the department.
Discharged and
they were. So from the police department point of view, it's another statistic, right?
Right.
It's another case put on the desk, right? It's another bad look for the police department. It's another bad look, right? So they're trying to nip it in the butt. They're trying to brush it under the rug. And what else can be done when now that the body cams has exposed what was done? You can't hide from the truth.
Right.
So now they're either scrambling right now to make sure that this is settled.
Right.
And this is why they were charged and they were dealt with so swiftly, because they had to send a message. They had to send an example. But it just so happens,
like you said, this is the new blueprint.
It is the blueprint.
But let's see what happens if like I said, the blueprint, we'll have to see if the blueprint works depending on the situation. If the next situation is it a race-driven situation? Is it another Caucasian guy, officer? Or is the victim Latino or black or whatever, Russian, another minority? We're gonna have to wait and see.
But that's the thing. I want to think about this in the circumstances where this case was dealt swiftly because of the way that the crime was committed. Not that the other crimes are no worse, because they weren't. They were just as bad. But why was this in particularly done the way it was, right? So again, in the news, in the headlines, the circumstances around his death are too often heard in this in the news, and it does not continue to change our minds, right? But this story in particular has now changed the narrative.
That's what I was trying to say. That's the word I was trying to look for.
And because of the protection, right? Because of the protection of the police, because the police have to protect their own, right? They got to do whatever they can to cover up for them. But now you put them in a position that's very, very hard, that they can't cover for you no more. They can't cover for you. The evidence is all there. The lawyer made it very true. He's like, how is it that this was dealt so quickly? Is because the truth is out there and there's nothing we could do about it. We're going to have to let y'all hang. We're going to have to let you do what you have to do because it is out of our hands now. It's in God's hands right now.
Yep.
And again, we cannot use this behavior as an excuse, because it's not. But because the narrative has changed, it brings the conclusion that race
plays a factor.
That the race of these officers may or may not be a factor anymore. And that's what's making it tricky right now. Because
so now, what if the script was flipped?
Okay.
What if it was African American cops and it was a white passenger, Caucasian passenger?
You're on your own there. I don't know.
I think they would have been arrested right away and charged like they did right now.
Because the victim was white.
Mm-hmm.
Not because of the type of crime that was committed. But
it's a double standard right now.
But that's the question. Now the narrative has changed because it's changed now because now the offenders are African American, and the victim was African American. So was it black on black crime? Was it what was the driving force to this, right? And why is it relevant, right? Why is it relevant to know that these cops were black and that the victim was black? Why? Because it's always been white officers that are often the cause of these senseless violent acts. And now that it's African Americans, does it hurt more? Does it change the way we're thinking about it? And what happens now? Is it because the police have too much power? Right? Do they have excessive force that's going? Like, what is it that's changed the story? And this particular story with Tyre Nichols has changed that story.
Yep.
Absolutely. And they're now currently doing the funeral arrangements for him. They're doing man, it's just like me thinking about it. It's just like it's really, really sad. Just really thinking about it, because it's very upsetting.
It could be anybody's kid.
It could be anybody's kid. And I feel bad for the officers too. Because you know what? They could have been just having a bad day.
Or it could have been just having a good day and then it just went south from there.
Went south real quick.
Yep.
Not all cops are bad and not all cops are good either. But it depends on what day you get. You might cross a path with somebody that might not have been having a good day, and that worries me. That worries me. And there's another few articles that are there about why Tyre Nichols' death at the hands of black officers say that about race and policing and policy. Is that policing or policy? I think it's policing. Yeah. So it's an interesting thing by the writer that mentioned that the Memphis chief police, who has commended and fired the officers, is a black woman. More than half of the police force in Memphis, Tennessee are black. The majority of the city is black. That says something. So race should not be the factor.
It just shows that
we have to look past that.
we have to look past it, and also the way that they're handling it is they're on the gun right now. They're right on it. They're on top of it, and that's what it seems like from this article.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like what 80%, the population is 80% black in that community up in Memphis, Tennessee, and what is the force is also pretty much majority of African American.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like the lawyer said, that should be a blueprint. If we could do it to our own and
punish those
rightfully so from the beginning, why can't this blueprint work for any other precinct?
Absolutely.
Or any other state?
Absolutely.
Or something like this happens.
Absolutely. Why does there have to be time in between to look at a case or do these things? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But again, this is a systemic problem. It's always been a systemic problem, but now they're trying to do what they can to make sure that moving forward, there's a lot of work involved,
right,
to get to that point. But it's really super sad. And at this point, they're having all different talks about. I think Tyre's father, was invited to do the to sit down with Biden at the State of Union. So he was invited formally to go ahead and do that. So at this point, they're trying to put the family's face on every national stage to do what? To get sympathy or to get a message out.
They're doing it right away. That's another thing. Like me being a parent, I wouldn't go anywhere. I wouldn't go to no state address. I'm staying home. I'm mourning the loss of my child. Yes, we want to be the face of this new agenda where we want to be on top of it, like being like an activist and like try to bring unity together. But you know what? There's so much going on in the world today. I want to be home. I want to be with my family. I want to be with my kids. I don't want to be nowhere near the president. I don't care about the president.
Yeah.
Why would I want to bring my troubles to him? Yes, it could.
What is he going to do for me?
What's he going to do for me?
Particular. No, what he's going to do, he's going to use his son as center stage to try to promote himself,
right,
and try to show that he's willing to do what he can to incorporate change. He's using him as a national
political
propaganda. Like, here, oh, this is me. I'm patting the boys, my man's back, and this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to get their face out there so that everybody. They did the same thing with so many other protests, and what has really changed? Nothing. So it's really systemic, and it's not systemic in a sense that it's in every community. It affects every community. It affects the police department. It affects the parents. It affects the community as a whole. So we have to find something in between,
right?
Some sort of balance in that. But it's very difficult to think about that. But now I want to talk about how that transitions into how police get involved with other incidences. So I want to go into the Paul Pelosi videotape. So with Paul Pelosi, this is something very unique because this incident happened back in October. And it was something that it was very strange that this was something that came all of a sudden and happened all these months later.
Mm-hmm.
But Joe Rogan has a really just a short clip on his thoughts on the body cam footage and his understanding of that incident. So if you want to pull that
Paul
up.
Pelosi incident.
The Paul Pelosi incident. Yeah.
From the beginning?
Yeah, you can play.
When you see narratives and that those narratives are not accurate, and you see narratives that get pushed, like one we were talking about earlier today was the Paul Pelosi video.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that video? No. Do you see the Paul Pelosi
story,
get hit with the guy with the hammer? So all these people
there's
have
a video of it?
Yeah, there's video of it. The cops, they released the cops' body camera footage, and then they also released the security footage that shows the guy breaking into the house. And then they released the 9/11 call so you can listen to Pelosi. So there was some suspicion that he knew the guy. But I think that's just because people are always suspicious of everything. There's always like, what's really going on? People always do that. But you could really clearly hear from the 911 call that there's a crazy person in his house with a hammer, and he's trying to keep the guy calm. Yeah. And he thought the guy was pretty calm up until the moment where the cops came, and you see he has his hand on the hammer. I mean, it's really fucked up. Listen to this because it's kind of crazy. Let's do it from the beginning.
Oh, wow.
But listen, watch this. So he goes in his house. So here's the guy.
Yeah, that's the body.
He's got his hand on the hammer.
Good. All right. Drop the hammer.
No.
Hey.
What is going on?
I'm not getting an answer on call.
Whoa.
Okay. It's horrible because you hear him snore like he's out cold. It's really bad.
So, again, let me ask a question. If there was an incident where police are called to your home and 911, all the things come in, how come they didn't shoot the guy right away? You see that he has a weapon, correct?
Mm-hmm.
He has a weapon. Why didn't they shoot at him?
I don't know.
If it was another individual, not of Caucasian accent, would have that incident gone down a different way?
Probably.
Okay. When Joe Rogan continues with his interview, he talks really briefly about how this particular incident with Paul Pelosi is that they are very rich people. And he says, why don't they have any security? Right?
Well, technically, like,
well,
you live in a house like that, they probably have a security around the perimeter.
Well, the way that he explained it is that the footage showed that the guy was in the back of their house, knocking on the window, opening the door, and broke into the house. And then the narrative, the narrative changes. People don't know the full story. People are making assumptions. People are so quick to say something unless a body cam shows up. And the police department is saying to myself, one or two ways. Either the body cam is going to be the death of me, or the body cam is going to be my saving grace. One or the other. That's the way you have to see it. But then it boils down to mental illness. Do you think that guy knew Nancy Pelosi or Paul Pelosi personally?
We don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe. For him to know the exact address
where
and
they
the exact house
and stuff like that. Do you think it might have been planned? The thing is, we don't know the circumstances around this. But now in this particular incident, where the police, for opening the door, coming in, doing what they need to do. The way that it was seen, should they shot the guy? Boom, skid him in the shoulder. Boom, make him drop the hammer.
Or freaking
just body slam him. Just bum rush him.
The shock, the taser.
Yeah, right?
That's it.
Why wasn't that done? You clearly see there is some sort of danger.
Or threat, yep.
It's an imminent threat, right? Did Tyre was he an imminent threat? According to body cam, according to video, he was not an immediate threat. So how are these two different situations where the cops are put in a situation where everything is a split second choice, right? So back in my mind, you're more likely to react when there's an imminent threat, when you see an hammer, when you see a gun, when you see a knife. They act quickly, right? What happened with Tyre? Was he a threat? Was there something in particular? Was there something that he did specifically for him to get pepper sprayed, to him to be tasered, and to be severely beaten? If that man had a hammer, I'm bum rushing him. I'm shooting somebody in the knee. Something is going, there is something that's going on. I have a comment from Cynthia Velez saying they seemed shocked, honestly, and not great reactions from the cops. See?
Yep.
So what happens is, are we giving the cops enough training? Are they being trained for these specific dangers and things like that? We're all human. Don't get me wrong, we make mistakes. But this is why I feel like there has to be more training, not in terms of just physical training, that mental training. They have to teach people more, not just cops anyway. I think it's a more social thing. I think it was really about how we need to teach ourselves to be more aware about mental illness, because it is a real thing.
Right. Yeah,
it is a real thing. People have illnesses, schizophrenia, bipolarism, and those affect how people behave, the way they act. And it's just like,
you could be drunk too. You could be alcoholic.
Could be drugs. It could be psychedelic. It could any single factor you can think of. But the point is, the reactions from the cops were just so polar, just from polar opposite ends. When there is imminent danger, they didn't act swift enough. When there's not imminent danger, they're ready to beat you to a bloody pulp. I'm confused. I'm confused. Just like Nida. That's what I'm trying to get to the point at, is like, what do we do in terms of training our cops and training our society and training our our community as a whole when it comes to these different things? But I want to get into Elon Musk real quick. And let me tell you why. Okay, Elon Musk is the type of dude, right? My man invested $40 billion by Twitter. It didn't really work out for him as much. He dropped the deal. So my man is not really good at making decision making.
He didn't drop the deal. I think he did take over, but he fired her. He's firing people.
Right. What I'm saying is, like, he was trying to drop them and not pay the money.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, I want to, no backsies or whatever. Yeah. So my man came in, entrometido, as always. And Joe Rogan mentioned it, that changing the narrative and not understanding the full story, you'll get something like this. Let me see if you can pull up the article. So this knucklehead, does this say the title? This is it. Yeah. Elon Musk apologizes for tweeting a baseless conspiracy theory about the attack on Paul Pelosi. Do you know what my man said?
No.
My man said...
He probably deserved it?
No, it's worse. He said that the attacker's name was David Debate, that he was an escort in his house that was trying to break out of his house. So it's like he was like a
so
lover.
He was held captive.
He was held captive, and he was trying to break his way out. It's way worse than that. So my man later puts on an apology. Okay, some lame ass apology. Okay, saying that
Elon Musk has apologized for posting a baseless conspiracy theory about the attack on Paul Pelosi. Pelosi, husband of former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, was attacked in the home in December.
Right, look. Musk's apology came a day after the body cam. So my man was making assumptions.
He came quick with it.
He came quick with it because he didn't know the whole story. My man is running his mouth, okay, saying that he was an escort, that he was arguing with an escort. I'm like, are you serious? I was like, and that was what Joe Rogan was talking about. Like, people don't know the full story and they're changing this narrative, and they're over here, they're talking the pika paka pa. And my man apologized the day after when the body cam came up. Well, if you had your mouth shut, if you didn't, make these baseless lines, then you wouldn't be in this situation. But again, Elon Musk does not have the best sense of judgment.
Or track record.
Besides
making Tesla cars and being CEO of Tesla. That's
my man has been in the news for some stupidity. And let me tell you, it's between him naming his child after, I don't know, a weird name. Can't even say it. You could just spell it. Then he's been in the news that he's been the whole situation with Twitter, trying to do backseas for $40 billion. Oh, are you tired? Excuse me. Am I boring?
No.
Excuse me. I think we're about to cut off this live because it's too much for Mr. O'Malley right now. You all right?
I'm all right. I'm hanging in there.
Okay. What do you mean by hanging in there?
Hanging in there.
I don't understand what you mean by that, but yeah. So this whole article with him, when he was trying to be funny, it was just like, come on, Elon, like shut your mouth. Like you had no business saying any of those things. But transitioning into another information about Joe Rogan, the question is, what does this have to do with all the cops? In both situations, what does it have to do with the cops?
Training,
right? Training, right? And what was your thoughts on how this case was handled with Pelosi?
Well, it was handled that way because she's a high-profile official.
Because she's being importante.
Mm-hmm.
So, if he was a regular schmegular other dude,
who knows what would have happened?
Who knows what would have happened? That's the difference.
But the fact that they did react quick though.
Who?
Well, the cops when they saw the hammer start swinging, they jumped into action.
No, I get that, but I'm saying I see a hammer, like I'm not waiting. My man, he already cracked him in the head. He cracked him in the head, bro. Fractured skull, bro. That type of injury, I'm surprised that man is still alive.
All right, enough with the sad stuff.
What do you mean, the sad stuff? It's not sad stuff. It's stuff that affects families, the community, and everything.
Well, the next one is sad and funny.
No, it's not sad and funny. It's just straight up sad. Straight up sad.
What do you got, Steph? What's the next one?
So, I want to talk about children being left behind on a flight. Now, I want to clarify this story, right? So, a couple leaves their child behind because they did not want to pay full price for the flight ticket. I'm gonna read that again. Couple leaves baby behind at airport after being told that they had to pay extra for him to fly. So this story was oh my god,
I can't get in, so you probably read it.
You know why? Because I probably already read it already. So okay, so what is the flying policy generally, right? Kids fly free age 2 and under.
Yeah. So
they either can fly on your lap or you have to buy a seat next to them if they're over the age of 2. Mm-hmm. So my kids, they flew free up until the age of 2, to the last day. So in this particular one, it wasn't from the United States, it was from Israel.
Okay.
So I don't know if that makes a difference that they were so willing to leave their child at the airport because they had to pay extra for him. Do you know how much the extra was?
It's like $15-$20.
$25.
What? $25.
$25.
Are you serious?
In their currency.
Are you serious?
As serious as a heart attack. As cardiac arrest. According to the article.
Wow.
Did you hear that? 25 pesos.
I will leave them for less. I will leave them for less.
Wow. Yeah.
I'll be like, deuces, you find your own way home.
Deuces. Wow.
Here's your passport. Here's your contact information.
Fend for yourself. But yeah, he was little over 2 years old, baby boy. I don't know if he could, if he was talking or I really don't know, but the parents were ready and willing and able to say, well, we're not going to pay for him for the flight. So police saw what was going on, the situation, and it was just like, what? It was just a question like, what? Why would you not pay for your child to go on the flight with you? I'm confused. So they were arrested because they were like,
so they're about to really dip on this kid.
Oh, they were ready to dip on this kid for $25. And the police came and, I don't know if police, but like airport security saw the whole situation happening. And they all of them all together went to jail, and then the child probably went to child services and whatever the case may be, and now these idiot parents, they're in containment now, and however, I don't know how they do it in Israel, if they're put in jail or they're put in detention. I don't know what it is for leaving their child.
Yeah, that's sad.
That's super sad. We know how expensive it could be, but I would never leave my child. I would never leave my child. I would rather not go. I'd rather not go.
Like my brother and I flew. My mom would send us to El Salvador unaccompanied. To El Salvador.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that either.
You know, but there's a proper channels of going through that. You know,
right.
You reserve your ticket. You go to when you get to the stage to the airport. You know, my mom has to be there to show the paperwork. You have to pay for that extra service also for flying as a unaccompanied minor. But then when you get to the other side, you know, they'll have the flight attendant come, will get you all the way to the plane, seat you, and then you wear like a little it's like almost like an ID bag with all your paperwork in there. You sit in the front row. You go first class to put you in the first class section. Yeah. And then from there, when you get to your arrival, the only person that they release you to is the person, the contact that you left on the paperwork when you left. You know, so it could be like grandma or whoever it was that was on the itinerary to be picked up.
Right.
And you got to show ID and stuff like that, or else they not won't release you to anybody.
Right, but you see what your mom did? Your mom
She went through the proper channels.
No, she did paperwork. She paid for the ticket. She did all the steps to make sure that you were safe and that wherever you were going. Yeah.
She will fly with us to El Salvador. We will stay for the whole summer, and on the way back, we would come on our own by ourselves.
Right.
And then she would wait for us.
Yeah, but that's not the case with these idiot parents. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna leave them because we can't pay for it." Now, let me tell you, I feel bad that maybe they couldn't afford it. Maybe they didn't have the money. Again, we don't know the situation.
But the fact that they would just willing
that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
leave the child behind.
Like, if I don't have the money, then I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna leave them. I'm not gonna leave them. My man was 2 years old. Like, he was a little bit older than 2 years old. You think he's gonna be able to fend them for himself in the airport, all big by himself?
But just the fact, look, they got the kid with the
solo. Like,
I don't think that's the actual child, but
I don't think so either.
But just the fact that they got the kid walking by himself in the airport.
God. I can't leave
with
these
his luggage.
two idiots in the supermarket without them, you know, making a ruckus or whatnot, and then I'm supposed to leave them abandoned in the airport for them to fend for themselves. They don't know how to speak, or they probably don't know how to, you know, because they're 2.5. Who they gonna ask for help? I don't understand. I don't understand that story, but. I want to talk about the next topic. We'll talk about the next and last topic for the night. These idiots. I don't know.
Next topic. Boom.
What are we here talking about here?
Netflix provokes password privileges.
So, for all you suckers out there, I mean it in the most sweetest terms of endearment, because now it's like Netflix is now recognizing the freeloaders.
Yep.
No, I'm just saying in a sense that now that they're raising the prices, they want to make sure that they're compensated for however the services they're rendering to.
Yeah.
So they don't want to go ahead and give you the one deal package, like you pay the one, you know, what they call
the free 99, the unlimited access plans.
No, that's not the point for Netflix. So now Netflix is trying to have a contingency plan into preventing sharing passwords for their logins. So I don't know if you want to tell. We have a little clip on that.
Yep, here we go.
Yeah, pull up on that clip. Yo.
Respond by regaining subscribers and upping those numbers again. So the way that they're responding is, cracking down on password sharing. The way that they managed, or that they're planning to do this, we saw they rolled out in Latin America last year. is by now they'll be charging for what they call an extra member sub account. And so this is where those tough conversations come in. Who is worth paying an extra, fourth of your subscription cost every month? Or maybe you just bill your mom for hopping on your Netflix. And yeah, so password sharing has been a big problem for streaming services pretty much ever since they've started. It's so easy to hop in and get their stuff for free if you know someone else with an account. Netflix is going to be the first one charging for extra accounts like this, but other services like HBO did something where HBO used to just flag accounts that rampantly abused their account credentials, basically meaning they shared them with too many households. And another preventative measure is limiting the amount of simultaneous streams. So you'll be more hesitant to share your password because why would you want to stop watching TV just so that your friend's roommate can hop in on your Netflix stream?
Okay, because I wondered, how can they tell that it's not you watching from another state?
Yeah,
I
can they?
The address.
Yeah,
or
so
the
they'll
IP
use your
address.
geographical location. Usually if you're watching like on a TV, it'll provide exactly where you are. So they only want people in the same household at your address watching.
So one study shows that more than 70% of Netflix users would pay full price if that was their only option, but the numbers are not that high for other streaming services. So how would this password sharing crackdown, the impact on, what kind of impact would it have on these companies and sort of the broader culture of streaming when you realize that for most people, I think there's a recent study too that came out that showed that there's strong brand recognition for Netflix, there's strong brand recognition for Amazon Prime. And then after that, it starts to go down to like from Hulu to Apple to
I'm going to pause this here. Because Netflix has the highest subscription.
Right.
According to the other article, it was the other article here. It shows that they have 100 million. Hold on, let me share this.
Yeah, share that one.
Right here, it says Netflix has estimated that over 100 million users worldwide are using the service through the login credentials of someone else. So that means they are losing money. If this 100 million users times $20, if that's the premium account, which I would suggest getting the premium account because it gives you HD, 4K, HDR, Dolby Vision.
HDR, yep, all that good stuff.
And especially have a high quality television.
Absolutely.
And if your TV is not in an obsolete mode, then if it's obsolete, then you go for the lesser package.
Obsolete. Don't be messing with the tube TV.
Yeah, so that just tells you how much money they're losing.
So if they have 100 million subscribers that are not subscribed, how many subscribers do they have that are paying? It has to be double. Right?
Yeah,
the same amount.
Let's find out. Let's see.
Right. So let's say how many subscribers are Netflix have right now? Right.
209 million global paid memberships.
So 200 million are paid subscribers, and then the 100 million, which is literally half of them, are not paying Netflix. So
bunch of thieves,
bunch of freeloaders. But now it gets into the tricky part. Like you were asking me, and I was like, I didn't know, in a sense of what it means. Like, what if you go far? Like, if you go over, I don't know, if you travel. So I didn't know any of that. So.
I could explain all this.
Please explain, because
so when it comes to what Netflix, it's insisting on. What do you call it? This is their, I guess, their workflow and how they want to implement this. So it says, in order for you to share your account, what they're going to do is they're going to access your account through your IP address, and they're going to limit the login to your household only.
To your Wi-Fi.
So people who live in your household. So in order for them to ensure that it says here who can use a Netflix account. Netflix accounts are still shareable, but only within one household.
Right. Okay.
And to ensure that your devices are associated with your primary location, Netflix is now asking users to connect to the Wi-Fi at your primary location.
Okay.
And if you haven't, and it's going to ask you every 31 days to keep logging into your Wi-Fi in order to use Netflix.
So let's say after the 31 days, they block you?
No, you're going to have to log into your Wi-Fi again. But if you use it every day, I'm pretty sure
there's no reason.
It says here you have to something has to be watched at least once every 31 days. If not, they're going to kick you out and you have to log back in.
Bueno.
And it says, can you still share your Netflix with someone who doesn't live with you? The answer is no. Nope. Accounts are only meant to be used in one household.
One household.
Right. Boom. And it says, can other users on your Netflix account save their profile? Yes. So if you're sharing with somebody that you're password sharing with somebody, they will give you the opportunity to transfer your account from their existing profile
to have their own profile.
To have their own, to you having your own subscription.
Gotcha.
So you'll be able to transfer over.
Gotcha.
And it says, can you still use Netflix while traveling? Because that's a big one. We travel.
Yeah.
We like to watch Netflix. I don't log into the hotel TVs, the smart TVs.
No, we don't.
No, we don't do that.
Because you might forget.
Right. So I'm pretty sure
and then you're still locked in.
Right.
So don't do that.
So I'm pretty sure like people who travel for business and stay in hotels on periods of time.
You download?
I download movies. I download movies all the time. And then I watch them offline.
Right. Right.
I don't think that would be a problem also. And then now if you're traveling, now it says travel users who want to use their Netflix on a hotel smart TV, company laptop, etc., can request a temporary code from the service when signing in. This will give them access to their account for 7 consecutive days. So which is fine. So now if you're there for more than a week, then after 7 days, you'll have to request access again. So it says, how can you prevent Netflix from blocking your device? Signing into your home Wi-Fi at least once every 31 days on your device will make them a trusted device. And then the next one will be, how will Netflix know if you're not in your home / primary location?
Your IP.
Right. So that lady, I'm sorry, that lady, the anchor lady. I'm sorry, she don't know what she's talking about.
She didn't know. You can't blame her. But now here's the thing.
So now every TV, every device you have in your household has an IP address.
Has to have an IP.
Address or IMI address or something.
Yeah.
So and that's how when you log into your Netflix, when your Wi-Fi, they know exactly who's logging in, how many IP addresses are at home.
Who are they paying to make sure they're watching? Who are they paying?
Big Brother. Right. So it says Netflix uses information such as IP addresses, device IDs, and account activity to determine whether a device signed into your account is connected at your primary location.
See, but now if they're having all these contingencies and everything like that, aren't they going to most likely lose business? Or are they currently losing business anyway because people are using it like freely?
They're using it freely. But my question is, am I still going to be able to use Netflix on the go? Like on cellular service?
Like if I'm on the train and
if I'm on the train and I'm watching my shows
or on a bus.
Am I going to be limited to that, or am I going to be limited to just watching Netflix at home now? I don't want that.
Oh, this is what they're trying to implement right now, because it says it's not going to take into account until March. So they have a lot of planning to do.
Right. And then also it's for those that are sharing and they find out they're charging a $3 fee
per user.
Yep, per user. So if they do not meet the Netflix expectations in curbing password sharing, harsher measures such as charging users who continue to give out their login information could follow. And they've begun using these methods in Latin America in 2022. So this says they're charging users an extra $3 when someone outside the home accesses their account.
Wow.
So this has already been implementing, and this has been already like a pilot program already out there.
Right. I don't know.
I like this topic.
I don't know. I mean, are you willing to pay the extra $3 to go continue your Vampire Diaries? Are you really?
But now the problem is if you're sharing other providers, other streaming services, HBO.
Well, they said it wasn't on the hierarchy.
Yeah, but now that Netflix is doing it, every other streaming service is gonna follow suit.
Follow suit. Why not? Let me tell you something. Since we got rid of cable, we're paying the same amount we were paying when we were paying for cable, and that's too much.
Cable died when monthly subscriptions started happening, and I'm sick of it. Sick of paying all these monthly fees. I should have stuck to cable. Because then I get free DVR, free access, free recording, and free access to the apps on the TV.
Oh, my God, bro. Like, it's not too late, but it's
But granted, I am paying like $80-something for cable, for just internet only, which is fine.
Right. No, not 94.
With taxes.
With taxes.
With the tax and the rental
Right.
of the router. But other than that, like
everything else is with subscriptions and internet and Wi-Fi and all this. I'm like, oh my God. We done messed up. Oh my God. But
it's not it's the whole world. Listen, you're paying a monthly subscription to use Microsoft Word. Who the hell does that?
What do you mean?
Back then, we used to just buy the software, and then when they upgraded, then you pay again. Another $100 every 2-3 years. Now you're paying $20 a month just to use Microsoft Office.
But everything, bro, you already know this. Everything going up. Like, what do you...
Everything goes up, but our salaries. And I really do believe there's going to be an economic crash.
We said it. We said it before.
You heard it here, guys.
You heard it here. You heard it here first. You heard it here first, guys. But guys, we want to thank you for spending your time with us on our live sessions with the Table for Four podcast. We want to continue with these live sessions. We're going to continue with them every Wednesday. Again, we want to welcome you. We want to say what's up. We want to say come in, chat,
join us.
Let us know what are your thoughts. We're here at the live sessions with the podcast. We're talking about different stories and topics in the headlines in the week and everything else in between. So you guys can continue, follow, like, and share on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We want you guys to continue listening, follow, like, share. Let us know. Give us your thoughts.
That's it. Leave us a like, subscribe, follow. Do it all.
Do it all. This is Stephanie.
This is Andre.
This is Table for Four, Family Conversation Podcast. Live sessions.
Live sessions on Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays.
Have a good night.
We want you guys to have a good night.